I've said in the past that if something is worth doing at all, it's worth doing well, and I still stand by that. But something I've been thinking about a lot recently has been, if something is worth doing, it's worth risking failure at. It's worth doing poorly at the start so you can develop a better understanding or develop into the person that can do it well. And I think a lot of people run into that issue where they'll try something and they won't be instantly great at it, or it won't feel like the most natural fit for them, and sometimes it just takes a lot of focused attention and effort to fit into whatever your interest is, regardless of whether or not you seem to be cut out for it. And so that's just kind of something that's been on my mind, and it made me think a lot about how this belted lifting was today. This is the first time about 2 or 3 months that I've worn a belt, period, for any lifting stuff. And so adding it to my deadlifts, possibly on the heaviest day in the next 4 weeks, may not have been the best timing for it, because it's making a technical adjustment. Even though I feel stronger with a belt, and I know that I will be able to lift more ultimately with a belt, I'm less comfortable with it right now, and so I'm struggling through finding some better positions. You're going to see I brace really hard right before I do a pull, especially with a heavy weight, and with 3 months of beltless work, I've gotten used to bracing my core without something to push against. Now that I have something tight, leathery, and not moving to push against, my blood pressure is spiking, and I almost passed out on this right there. You see, I sort of fell forward, and I said, whoop, just got to pull it back. So that 680, I took a second at the bottom there just to make sure I wasn't going to fall over, because I was so not used to it. And it's not that it's not going to help, but it will. Ultimately, if you look, even the speed off the ground for most of these pulls is much better than it is when I'm not wearing the belt. But it changes the movement pattern a little bit. It changes the way that the weight feels, it changes the sensations, and it changes a lot of the different factors. And so it's one of those things where, you know, it's worth doing because I'm going to benefit from it. I'm going to have a bigger total, a bigger pull as a result of implementing this use of the belt. But initially it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable to get used to that, and it's going to take some time to readjust and to kind of suffer through some of the drawbacks to reworking in a new form. It's one of the, you know, you sacrifice the specificity to bring up the weakness of the core and to get better in the long run, and then when you add it back in, it's not like it instantly fixes everything and makes it so much easier right off the bat. You have to readjust to the changes you make. And so I am adding in the belt back to everything. I'll be adding in my knee sleeves for my squats, and I'll be adding in my wrist wraps for my benching, as well as the belt. And these are my Olympic shoes, which I will be wearing as long as I continue to do the flat-footed pressing for the bench. Ironically, that's not what you're seeing right now. What you're seeing here is a extra wide grip feet up bench. I'm still working on that bottom position, really trying to bring up my control at the bottom of my chest, and this really hits the chest and the shoulders a lot harder for me because that wider grip requires me to stay more in control and contract harder. And then when I move back to my regular grip, like you're seeing here, after my 4 sets of 5 at 280, I did this 320 for 4 singles, trying my absolute best to control it and not let it sink into my chest. I was trying really hard to maintain that tight position, and you can see it's working. I did it at the expense of some leg drive. I think that I was mostly pressing with my upper body on these, and I still have to learn and teach myself how to implement a really powerful leg drive without letting the bar sink at all and without running the risk of possibly dipping into my chest. So it's getting better. It's miles and miles ahead of where it used to be. Regardless of what weight is on the bar, I am definitely becoming a much better lifter all around, and the progress is coming, but it's slow and there's an adjustment period, and ultimately I'm improving week to week and session to session. So that's all you can really ask for. You know, the gains aren't going to be crazy huge at this point. I'm going to go in with my expectation and try to meet the goals that I've set, and work very hard. On that one, you see I took a really poor lift off out of that rack and it put my shoulders in a bad position. I managed to fight through it and hit that 340 for the single. But if you look at this, it shows the volumes and the intensities and all that good stuff. And down the bottom left, you can see that I got a significantly more volume on this session than I did last week, even with the increased weights. So feeling good and excited to move forward and get reacquainted with that equipment. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like rating. It really does help me out a lot. Share it with your friends if you think they'd enjoy it. Comment down below. It's been my favorite part recently, has been commenting back to everybody. I've been trying really hard, at least for the day or so that the video is up and the most recent on my channel. I'll try to respond to all those comments. Other than that, I hope you're having a great day, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. I'll talk to you later. Bye.